Para continuar, vamos a hablar hoy de uno de los pecados atribuidos directamente al diablo mismo. En el libro de sabiduría leemos: más por la envidia del diablo entró la muerte en el mundo y la experimentan los que son de su bando. La envidia. Pero quiero empezar con las palabras de Dr. Bob Schuchts sobre la conexión entre los pecados capitales y nuestras heridas. Él dice que si la envidia nos consume, él piensa que tenemos una profunda inseguridad sobre nuestro sentido de dignidad. Nuestro sentido de dignidad, si tenemos problemas con el pecado de envidia. So we're going to talk about today the sin of envy. The sin of envy, which is, by definition, sadness at another's good and joy at another's evil. But before I say anything further, I want to read again what Dr. Bob Schuchts said that I read at the beginning of Lent when I was introducing this series, connecting the capital sins with our wounds. So he says, if it is envy that consumes you, I suggest that you ask yourself if you have a deep insecurity about your sense of worthiness. A deep insecurity about your sense of worthiness. Now again, envy is sadness at another's good and joy at another's evil. It doesn't mean that you can't appreciate what other people have. It's not that you can't appreciate or want it for yourself as long as it's a reasonable desire. What it is that you are sad that someone else does not have it. To be envious of someone else is to say, you have something that you stole from me, which is of course ridiculous. The key to the sin again is not the wanting, it is the being sad that someone else has it. Ahora, la envidia es tristeza por el bien ajeno y alegría por el mal ajeno. Nota, no es desear cosas que no tenemos. Esa es una forma de pecado y necesitamos guardar de eso. Pero el pecado de envidia es tristeza por el bien ajeno. Envidiar a los demás es decir, has robado lo que es mío. Has robado lo que es mío, lo que es evidentemente absurdo. La clave de este pecado no es querer lo que tiene otra persona, es la tristeza que uno siente de sus bienes. So what is the danger of this sin? Well, first of all, comparison, in this case, what others have that I don't, is a tool of the devil. Comparison is a tool of the devil. And this goes for so many things. And he uses it because envy focuses too much on this life, on this world, and is concerned with the possessions and honors of this world. And it's dangerous, as all deadly sins are, for the reasons that the effects of envy are that we run the risk of conceiving a hatred for those whom we envy. It tends to sow discord, argumentation and division. It urges men on the immodest quest. I hope it's not making me wrong. It urges men on the immodest quest of riches and for honors, and it disturbs our peace of soul. Ahora, ¿qué es el peligro de envidia? Recuerda, cada pecado capital es no solamente un pecado en sí, es también un pecado capital a causa de los otros pecados que está conectado con el pecado capital. Recuerda que la comparación es una herramienta del diablo, en este caso una comparación entre que tengo o que falto y que otra persona tiene. ¿Y qué son los efectos de este pecado? ¿Por qué estamos demasiado enfocados en las cosas de este mundo? Estamos a 2 dedos de odiar a aquellos de quienes tenemos celos. Tiende a sembrar divisiones impulso a la busca inmoderada de riquezas y de honores, y pone turbación en el alma del envidioso. So what then is the remedy for envy? First of all, you have to reject the lie that the good qualities of your neighbor lessen your own qualities. Just because someone is better than you at certain things or has certain things that you don't, doesn't mean that your good qualities are not good qualities. And to counter that lie, you have to cultivate gratitude for the things that God has given you. Now, that is different from left-braining your feelings. If you are feeling envy because you feel some lack or loss, you need to do what we've talked about before and let yourself feel those feelings properly and without sin. But then, as you're doing that, you can then go on to the next step of recognizing that you should be grateful to God for the things that He has given you. Ahora, ¿qué son los remedios de este pecado? Hay tres. La primera es rechazando la mentira que las buenas calidades de nuestro prójimo disminuyen las nuestras. Es decir, si otra persona tiene más, mejor, más grande cualquier calidad que tú, no significa que tú no tienes sus propias calidades buenas. Otra vez, la comparación es un argumento del diablo. Y necesitamos entender que esta envidia es un sentimiento, necesitamos lidiar con ese sentimiento, como he dicho muchas veces. Pero después de lidiar bien con el sentimiento, necesitamos recordar el hecho que el agradecimiento que tenemos a Dios por las cosas que Él nos dio. The second part of this is fraternal charity. We have to cultivate fraternal charity. Brotherly love causes us to consider our neighbor's interests as our own. Very basically, if you have ever actually loved anyone to any depth, you know that what makes them happy makes you happy, and you know what makes them sad makes you sad. So therefore, you are not going to be focused on your own sadness in an immature, selfish way. The more you love someone, and you are going to share more in their good qualities, instead of wishing you had it for yourself. You're happy that they've got it. El segundo es cultivar la caridad fraterna. El amor fraternal nos hace considerar el interés de nuestro prójimo como si fuera el nuestro. Es decir, y todos que aman saben que lo más que amamos a una persona, lo más sentimos su tristeza, sentimos su gozo, porque consideramos que es nuestro también. Y en este caso, lo más que amamos, si ellos gozan en una calidad buena, es lo mismo que si teníamos por nosotros mismos. And finally, we want to cultivate that noble and Christian sentiment of emulation. Emulation being, that is, wanting to imitate. And we have a lot of that. We have a lot of that. All of us want to imitate. All of us do imitate. Most people imitate pop stars or singers or some other nonsense like that. But we all copy people that we want to be like. So emulation, I don't have to tell you to emulate. You're already doing it. What I'm encouraging you is to make sure that you're copying the right people. All right, there's very few people on TikTok you should probably be copying, okay? You need to look at the people that are worth imitating and worth being like. Most people that the world holds up and that we see regularly as worth imitating are on their way very securely to hell. I'm not judging them, as we've talked about recently. I'm simply saying that the way they're living their life is not a godly way of life, and they are very securely on their way to hell. So you should also pray for them. But they're not to be imitated in that way. Okay? The best people to imitate are the saints, because they are the ones who's imitating Christ, who we should all be imitating. But of course, the reason we hold forth the saints as an example to imitate is because they show us how to follow Christ in more varied and concrete ways, in different walks of life, in different periods of history, etc., etc. Ahora, finalmente necesitamos cultivar la emulación, sentimiento laudable y cristiano. La emulación no es algo que yo necesito animar a ustedes. Ya hacen. Nosotros practicamos la emulación, imitación a muchas personas. Miramos a alguien que tiene algo que queremos y lo compramos, o cómo vestimos, o cómo comportamos. No importa. Imitamos a muchas personas y muchos en áreas que no debemos. Pues el hecho es que, porque ya practicamos la emulación, la imitación, que necesitamos cambiar muchas veces es quién imitamos, quién seguimos, cuyo ejemplo seguimos. Y en este caso es obvio que es los santos. Porque como seguidores de Cristo necesitamos imitar a Cristo. Y los santos nos dan muchos ejemplos de cómo hacerlo, muchos estados de vida, de cualquier sexo, edad, en cualquier estación. Ellos nos dan el ejemplo y con ellos debemos practicar esta emulación.